So I try and go through a little routine to try and connect. There's a lot. It took me a long time to figure this out. Because I used to just go to performances, like I organize a lot of performances, and so a lot of times I would just sort of walk on and play, and I go, yeah, man, that was crap. That really was just awful. It was because I wasn't connected with my instrument, right? And I read a really interesting article about somebody who was, I don't remember who it was now, but he was walking around playing, talking and playing, and so I'm like, why are you doing that? It's driving me crazy. You're doing this. Well, I just want to connect with my instrument. So I do this little kind of I sit on a stool when I play too, so I don't usually stand. So scales, right?
I was gonna say, that's pretty freaking cool. It sounds cool as shit. I'm going home, I'm gonna learn all this.
Right, so that's my one kind of scale routine. So then I go, same notes. So then I got screwed up, right? Because I'm talking while I'm doing this, right? It's not easy to talk, or you probably figured it out. It's easier to sing than it is to talk. So I do this routine where I try to warm up and connect with the instrument. Because it's nothing if it's not physical, right? It is physical. No question about it, right? You can't ever forget that. Oscar Peterson does that thing with his hands. It's like, oh my God, how does he do that? That is like mind-finger connection, right? So, sorry?
Is it like choreographed? Sort of puts things in perspective. I mean, I'm going to move this and that.
It's arranged. The word that's used in music is it's arranged, right? So, I know an arrangement of this song, right? That's a good example of a song that requires this pick, because I did a lot of... Can't do that if I don't have a pick that's staying there, right? But I can't do...
If you just use a classical guitar with nylon strings, what do you pick?
Sorry?
Use a classical guitar, nylon strings, you don't need a pick.
Yeah, that's true, but you don't get the same kind of sound there either, right?
That's pretty.
You know? Well, I mean, again, that's taste, right?
Yeah,
so that was... So I'm kind of, this is like what I would call a warm-up to the routine, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to connect with you, I'm trying to connect with my instrument. So if I'm doing a performance, right, which I've done many, it's really, really, really important for me to connect with who's out there. I need to feel some kind of connection. If I don't feel that you're with me in some way or another, it's like, oh my God, I can't do this, all right? Then the anxiety sets in. And so, in this article, one of the things that she says that I think is so cool is in the last line. This is worth reading. The whole thing is worth reading. But if you want anxiety, stick to performing. If you want to move others and be moved by them, start listening. So you go, wait a minute, you're the performer. You know, I'm supposed to be listening to you. Right? Like, really? What does she mean when she says start listening?
Listen to yourself.
Listening to yourself for sure. That's for sure. You got to do that. But in the context of anxiety, if I'm sitting in the room by myself, I don't feel any anxiety, right? Except for maybe if the dogs are sort of going, you know, like, Joe, I need to go out, you know, stop practicing, buddy. What do you think she means? What's the broader context of listening? As a musician, it's like you can play with people who don't listen. and all they do is they're playing their instrument, but they're not listening to yours. And you go, okay, well, you know what? I can't play with you. There's a great expression. Musicians, they talk and listen at the same time, right? It's the only communication where the message sent and the message received is happening at the same time. I'm going to have to modify my two-duck theory, I guess, but it's a quack mashup. That's what it is.
Remix.
Remix. I like that. It's good.
Don't get in my face. I love it. I like it.
So the listening part of it is, and the way I characterize it somehow or another, and this is what jams are about, is trust. Okay, it's trust. It's like, it's not going to matter if I screw up, and it's not going to matter if you screw up. I was at a jam last night. I go to quite a lot of jams. I love jams. I live to jam, honestly. I love to perform too, but it's different. Jams are different. And there was a guy who wanted to sing there last night. It's the first time. He's been to jams, same jam. We go to monthly. I host a jam every month. He's been at this thing for like a year and a half. Last night there was only 5 or 6 of us. And he felt confident enough and trusting enough to be able to say, yeah, I really want to sing. He's a harmonica player, right? He's a harmonica player. He said, but I really want to sing. He says, and I can't, he said, I practice at home, and when I do play the harmonica, and I'm in a key, and then I sing, and I can sing, and I write the songs, and then when I want to try and do the lead afterwards, I lose my sense of where I'm at with the pitch of the song. So anyway, point being, he finally was trusting enough, he felt comfortable to say, I don't know how to do this, right? So that's what jams do. Jams provide you with that opportunity to just, sit around with some people and play some music, and you know what? Enjoy it. It's really, if you don't enjoy it, I mean, yeah, it's entertainment, but it's also feeling, right? So as a warm-up song, one of the warm-up songs I do is one that I can sort of, because it's easy. We're going up, we're going down, we're going up and down, any way you want it to roll. Any way you want it, it's all right with me. Right? Easy. So I kind of connect with so people kind of go, okay, I can kind of feel that, right? So this time, tap your feet when I play, okay? Tap your feet. Everybody tap your feet. Or the table. Kansas, keep going. Kansas City, here I come. Over. Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women. Got a yellow wall. You tapping? I can hardly hear you. Well, I'm late to the train, I'm late to the plane. If I have to walk, I'm gonna get there just the same. Okay, so what you guys were doing was rhythm.
I have a talent.
Yeah, right. So yes, I can do rhythm.
That's music.
Spanish people do that.
Spanish
Turn around on the drums, and I could not do like the foot pedal and the drums at the same time. It takes me real while just to do that.
Yeah. So
That's hard. That's really hard, though.
There it
It's not
is.
something that you just pick up on randomly.
Sir, what's your name? Kevin. So Kevin nailed it. Well, I know. So Kevin nailed it. He said, let the music take you away, right? That's what's... So it's part of our as part of those 4 words, where does this notion of let the music take you away come in? What's that about?
You dance, you have rhythm, you just take it easy, everything.
Okay, so we have rhythm, we have melody, we have harmony, we have dynamics. Where does it fit in? You guys know this, right? You know, you don't need me to tell you this. You don't need to read this to know this. But what we're doing is we're just kind of finding some words that help us to understand what this is about. So I'm in a strange room right now. It's not quite a performance room, and it's not quite an edutainment room. It's a workshop, right? I've done workshops before, and it's cool, you know. Okay, so what's melody? You can read about this stuff afterwards, but it took me. It's funny how I sang since I was a kid, right? Sang in the choir, you know, church choir as a little kid, and I just loved to sing. It was just like I just loved to sing. Didn't matter what the words meant. You know, I was singing shit in Latin for God's sakes, you know. And it was like, what? Gaudium sigitur jubiles do sum. Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. I didn't care because it felt good, right? Just that act of singing. And Sonny, I think maybe part of what you were saying is that this expression that we get to do, right? As when we're in the shower, right? Like you're in the shower and there's nobody else, or you're driving your car, you're singing along with somebody's song on the radio or whatever. It feels great, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't it? Yeah, it like feels really good. So you're jamming. You're jamming. I was getting ready for today's class this morning. This is the craziest thing. I had my guitar. I was going, okay, so what am I going to do in this thing? And I had an automatic email popped up on the computer while I was doing this. And so I looked at it and I go, okay, I clicked on it, and then all of a sudden because I'm on a blues list, and this blues music starts to play. It's like out of nowhere, this guy's playing he's playing a blues riff, and I'm going, oh, I think he's doing that in A, you know? So I start playing along with him. It's like connecting, right? So this listening that she's referring to, I think, in this anxiety stuff, it's about listening to each other, and it's more than just the physical act of hearing. It is, you know what, supporting. It's feeling, it's sending out a vibe that says, you know what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you screw up. I don't care if you screw up, because we're in this together, right? So that's kind of what jams are about. And that's why I think jams are an integral part of what we're going to do. So I'm going to call them workshops because it sounds more educational. And after all, we are in an educational institute. Oh, God, I got to be careful because this is going to open. Or, right?
We can edit it out in post.
He's going to put that in his pocket and he's going to send it to the
Fix it
dean.
in post.
So I've written quite a few songs over the years, and the one that I thought might be a good example for melody is this one. I haven't played this song in a long time, so. In this music, yet unknown is a song, can't be sung. For a person yet unrealized, love that makes us one. About melody. That's the melody. Single notes in a sequence, right? So I put words to it. I didn't sit down at a keyboard and go do 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 do. I didn't do that. I did. In this music, yeah, there's a song. And I think a lot of songwriters do that. You know, I don't know. It was sort of like I go, okay, well, wait a minute. Okay, I know what it was. My wife wanted to do, it wasn't that song. She wanted to do a different song, but same thing. There's another song that I had written, and she wanted to needle point stitch the notes she's a fiber artist, and she wanted to needle art the notes on a treble clef, on a scale. And she goes, so what are the notes? I want to make it accurate. I want it to be technically accurate. And I'm going, well, I don't know. I mean, I could sit down at the piano and do that, and now I've got enough theory that if I had an hour, I could probably,
I can do the first 3 frets.
figure it out, and so, but we did it. But the point being, if I wanted to show that to somebody who is theoretically trained, and you show them the music on a piece of paper, and they sit down in front of the piano, and they go, okay, do-do-do-do-do-do, right, they would do that. So, for me, it's not important to have that theoretical background to be a musician. I don't think it's a requirement. In fact, we all know that there are many, many very good musicians who are not theoretically trained. It's not a requirement. There are many musicians. I play with 2 guys right now who are jazz musicians who have had lots of training, and these guys start talking with each other, and I'm going, what are you talking about, right? And I mean, they fill me in. It's great because they tell me stuff that I don't know. But they're playing my songs. They're going, yeah, we want to play your songs. And I'm going, what? Like, why would you guys even be interested? And they go, well, because they're good songs, like they're pretty good songs, So I go, oh, that feels good, to have some bona fide, theoretically trained musician who's accomplished on an instrument say, yeah, I'd like to play with you. So you go, okay, all right, well, that's cool, thank you, it's cool. So all that to say, everybody, and I say this to my wife, everybody is musical. You guys tapped along. Some of you didn't. That's okay. I don't care. I'm not sensitive. I think that everybody is musical. I think if you can tap, you're musical. And like Nancy, my wife, for example, she says, I just can't do music. And I say, well, no, you can. You just haven't. So I'm going to digress just a little bit to remind you, I think I may have mentioned the story to you before, but I want to say it again because just now is the right time. Because when we start talking about all these theoretical and philosophical things about what music is, and we talk about structural and theoretical parts and elements of what music is, that's important because it facilitates communication. But that's still not, knowing all that stuff doesn't guarantee any kind of important music, right? So I was at a jam 25 years ago, and a developmentally handicapped guy was there, and he wanted to sing a song. And I knew that this guy, he was playing with the gentleman who was coordinating the jam. And he knew that I'm going to call him Fred, that Fred wanted to play a song or sing a song. And the guy who was coordinating the jam was playing along with him. He said, okay, so it's, it's one of those things where you sign up, everybody puts their name on the list, and you sing a song, or sing a couple songs. And so Fred came up to sing a song. And he sang the song. It was a Johnny Horton song, I remember very well. It was called All for the Love of a Girl. And I knew that probably Fred had never had a relationship with a girl, right? I mean, you know that because he's sadly, was developmentally handicapped. But he sang this song, and it was like, oh my God, he is touching everybody's soul in the room with this song because he's sharing that essence of his need in that moment, or his expression, or his feeling, right? Whatever words you would want to use. So I think that's music. I walk away from that, and I don't care that the guy can't, the pitch isn't there. I just go, that is beautiful music. And that beautiful kind of, my wife, we're riding down the lake in the boat, and our boat's too heavy, and we got to go throw over some stuff. The kids are small, and we're throwing potatoes over the boat. And we start singing a song. I forget what song it was. I can't remember what song it was, but the kids are singing, and we're throwing potatoes in time. It's like, the rhythm was throwing the potatoes. That was beautiful music. So I just think beautiful music exists in a whole bunch of places that we don't often think about. And it kind of depends on what our definition of music is, right? So yes, we have a musical scale and things sound right, but when it comes to music, it's not, we know what we like, but very often we like what we know. Right? Very often we know what we like, but as often we like what we know, and that's what drives the commercial entities. Oh, I'm going to give them some music that they have heard before, It's going to be pretty similar, and I know it'll sell. And there's nothing wrong with that to some extent. But if we think outside of that framework, in other words, if we go, I don't have to know it in order to develop a liking for it, I think that's an approach that I would encourage. Right? Something that we haven't experienced before, a musical flavor that we haven't tasted. You know, it's like Bruce Coburn's voice, to me, is an acquired taste, right? I remember when I first heard his voice, I was like, I really think I like this guy's voice. But when I listen to his poetry and I listen to his guitar, I'm going, oh my God. And then the voice, you start going, wow, okay, that's because it's Bruce Coburn, it's nobody else. So that was melody. So harmony, I can't harmonize with myself, and I hate harmonizing equipment, right? I hate harmonizing equipment. I just think when you plug in a microphone and you get some sort of fake, you know, set of voices going on around you, I go like, you know what? That's a car engine running, you know. It may be nice, but that to me is not music. Yeah, it's the electronic stuff. A friend of mine, we used to do a radio show called Handmade Music, and there was only one requirement: you had to play real music. You couldn't bring in your, you know, you could bring in, it didn't matter what you were playing and singing, but you had to play it and sing it. You couldn't bring in your pre-recorded tracks and slam them into the machine, right? And, you know, backing tracks was not part of it, because it was handmade, right? The music was handmade, because that's the essence of it. So, I don't know, does that give you some sense of melody? So harmony is a combination of notes, right? A combination of notes. And on a guitar, there's harmony when you strum a number of notes together. There's a theoretical attachment to those, right, within the musical scale, and that you can easily look that up and find out if I'm playing a C, what are the notes that make up a C chord? But more importantly is, what does it sound like? Right? So when I was doing the CD and I was recording with the same guy that we did the radio show, he used to bring out his digital, he brought out his digital tuner, which was accurate within 1/1000th of a frickin' I don't know what, you know? And he'd go, you're out. And I go, what do you mean I'm out? My tuner says I'm in. And he goes, no, you're out. He brings out digital and he goes, yeah, see, yeah, you're off by that much. And he said, that string's off by that much, and this string is off by that much. And he said, by the time you have 6 strings that are off by 1/1000th of a whatever, you got 6/1000ths of a whatever that's off, right? And you go, so you're not going to get the harmony that you need. And I go, okay, whatever. Right, inside I do that. I go, whatever. And then he goes, listen to this. And so he did. And he went, he goes, you know, I was just trying to, these are out a bit, but.
You just got a snark tuner. It's pretty good. Throw that on there.
Yeah, I have one in my capo as well, which I like to use too sometimes, but this one's pretty good. And you know, of course, wood in guitars, particularly fairly good guitars, swells and shrinks. So the tension on the strings changes with every room that it's in, right? So, and it'll change with how many people are in the room. Okay, so this is harmony. These are these notes together. Listen to these notes together. Listen to it after the strum. You hear that? Okay, so I'm going to just throw away. That's not harmony. You hear that one that's kind of sour? Right? So harmony is this combination of notes. Okay, it's a combination of notes that unify to make one sound. So that was C, right? And as you play along, this is, we were talking about this last night in the jam. you know, you can play a C in a bunch of different places, and it's still C technically, you know, but they sound different, right? So technically, it's the same set of notes, but because of the register, they still sound different. So as much as we have technified music, there's still that element that you can't quite control, right? Yeah.
I mean, and I identify to that because, like, I mean, in Latin, my father just always grew up saying, are you on one harmony? Like, I mean, you're on the same page, you know what I mean? There's all that same sort of set of moods, or, like, you know what I mean?
Yes, there's a broader.
Like you said, like, it's that harmonia. Like, I mean, it's just that.
There's a broader concept too than
Exactly.
just sound. Yeah, there's harmony. Yes, and rhythm.
Yeah, for sure.
It's true of rhythm as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of try to wrap up. And for those people who are wanting to, you know, you're welcome to stay. We're gonna do a little jamming afterwards, you know, for half an hour or something. The next one is dynamic, and it's difficult to describe dynamic in words as far as I'm concerned, but it's probably, of the four that are articulated in that article, it's probably the most important. It's probably the most important. Because Oscar Peterson did it when he was doing the two-note thing, right? He was demonstrating the dynamics. It's the volume and the cadence, which is partly rhythm, right? So it's cadence and it's volume and it's, you know, all those things combined. And it's that magic thing, and we can use the word harmony too. Because you don't hear these things one to the exclusion of the other. You hear them all at once, right? When I go. You're not just hearing rhythm. You're not just hearing, you know, notes. You're hearing a lot. And so I can go. Or I can go.